Hello and welcome to the Emotionally Fit Humans podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Taylor. I've designed this podcast to support you in becoming emotionally fit, to deepen the experience of leadership and life. I empower leaders to navigate change, creating trusting, efficient and confident teams. Specialising in leadership and human behaviour, I know the quality of the relationship we have with ourselves directly impacts the quality of our experiences. Join me on this journey of getting intimate in discovering the amazing human you are to be able to better support those that we lead and care about. Thank you for joining me. Now let's become emotionally fit humans together. Hello and welcome back to the Emotionally Fit Humans podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Taylor, and it's great to be here with you for episode 3. In today's episode, I'm going to be taking you through a model of leadership that I support leaders through a journey of transformation of their impact, of their identity, and of their aligned action so that you can transform as a leader throughout this journey. It's called the Impact Journey, and it's one of the main models that I use in the Impact Lab program that I offer individuals. Now, every leader sits somewhere along the path of this leadership journey, and each stage of the journey brings a different attitude towards change and a different way to approaching or impacting others. Every turning point between each level also requires a courageous decision in how we align our action and how we behave. Now, each different level we are up leveling our identity in the emotionally fit human that we are becoming on this journey. And it has a ripple effect on the way that we connect with others, the way that we influence, and the way that we relate. So let's delve into it. There are 5 stages throughout this journey. So stage number 1 is the dependent stage. And this is a stage where I say it's like being people or leaders who need to be a bit spoon-fed and where they are heavily reliant on authority and structures around them, whether that's, using the spoon-fed analogy, a parent or a leader who is above them to go in and check in on, am I doing things right? So they're heavily reliant. And they follow advice from others, but sometimes lack results at this level. At this level, at dependence level, they also can avoid risk and are uncertain in the way that they express themselves. And so very reliant in modelling other people's behaviour and uncertain of self. Quite often at this stage, they are waiting to be rescued by someone or something and they are often fearful and become easily frustrated. People at this level or leaders at this dependence level are sort of operating what I call below the line behaviours, where they're blaming others. They might justify in their own mind their own little thought processes, justify why things are the way they are or how they are the way they are. They are often under-functioning and feel that they are owed something by people around them. At the dependent stage, people at this stage are uncertain and really do not know their values. They rely on the authority around them and being told what to do. And to move to resourceful reliance, they have to know what to ask. And often their curiosity is they're resisting change. So the pivotal moment here to is for the behaviours to change in letting go of the need to get things right and start to shift behaviours from below the line behaviours to above the line behaviours, as in taking personal ownership. Now, the impact on relationships at this level, people at this level tend to seek approval, and they struggle to set boundaries for themselves and may feel resentful towards other people who are achieving success, or feel that they're being overlooked in promotions or in up leveling. They are often overgivers, where they are trying anything that they can to fit in. So, as we say, the need here is to let go of the need to think that they have to have things right, and start to delve into their values. So the next level is what I call the challenger. So that was, we move from out of dependence into challenger. And at this stage, people are quite often frustrated. They're starting to resist and become really reactive towards any changes that are happening. So they push back on external rules, and are not seeking clarity as to why those rules might be in place. Their energy is often scattered and can be, again, driven by frustration. Their self-trust is low, but might be starting to grow a little bit. This is their stage where the people at the challenger level are questioning everything. They often can be angry and blame the external again. And they jump in and out of this stage of and can often go back to dependence. So they might start questioning things, pushing boundaries a little bit, often seek drama, and can operate very in an isolated state, and then go back to that stage of dependence, and then come back to here and use language like everybody says, or I told you that this is the way. And the impact on relationships here is where this person is often feeling misunderstood or by themselves as a leader. I don't even know how I fit in this workplace or in this family or in this community. And they can create friction by resisting any support or working in with others. So the pivotal moment to move out of challenger stage is where they start realizing that it's okay, I've got to stop blaming the systems here and start being a better self-leader. So that is key in moving through to what is the next stage that I call the rebel. Now, the rebel stage is aware that they are like disrupting things. They're consciously disrupting. They are empowered, and this is where they get this real reality check here. They start experimenting with, okay, yes, I can resist change, but at the challenger stage, but at rebel stage, they start being a little bit more, okay, I must in myself start developing new ways of leading and working in with others, because if I'm going to keep resisting moving to the next level, then it's actually about me. So at the rebel stage, people are beginning to trust their inner voice over seeking approval from others or from external sources. They're starting to break their old patterns of behaviour, but with a real sense of purpose as to why, and start living a little bit more of their values. They're starting to become clearer on what their values actually are. So the key behaviours that happen here is where people are like, okay, I'm going to just get on with it. I'm going to move through to the next stage. And they are early adopters of change. So often at this level, it can be a real challenge to accept that they actually are the person who in the past was to blame, and that it's not about blaming everyone else. So they start taking a real level of personal responsibility and ownership here at the rebel stage to hang on, it's not about everyone else. Maybe I need to start looking within and changing who I am, or up leveling who I am to get a better result. Because the results, if I stay at that challenger or dependence level, then I'm actually not moving forward. The impact on relationships at this third level, at rebel level, is where people start attracting people to work with. They start going, okay, I can work with these people. If I work in a team, then maybe I might learn a bit more about myself. They communicate more clearly and confidently and start beginning to repair old relationships or dynamics within teams, but with a greater level of emotional awareness. And this is where the importance of it becoming an emotionally fit leader really kicks in at this stage. So the pivotal moment here is where the leader themselves, or the human themselves, begins to start backing their own thought processes, their own voice, and start taking those steps of up leveling, even though it might be risky or scary to them. Okay, now moving through to a level 4 leader, and this is what I call the achiever level. This is where people are starting to tick the boxes and get better results for their purpose in life. They are a very grounded level of certainty at the achiever level, and they're very clear in their attitude towards change. They are intentional and confident about where they're moving, and become clearer on their message and their mission. At this level, leaders create results that actually reflect their levels, and they lead with a real sense of grounded presence and clarity. What is the changing point here in behaviours is that they realise at this level that the blame didn't take them anywhere and didn't get the results, that they are responsible for the change that they must see in themselves. And the frustration in others should not have been directed at others, but more, and they start turning closer within, become internal and more focused on what results they are after. They start asking better questions here. How do I make things happen in a better way? Or how do I sustain this change? If I do this particular course or this particular style of leadership, then I'm going to get a better results. So it's a great a really pivotal changing space here, where it's about, okay, what is a better result and what is sustainable for me, and how at this stage they start with relationships. They start building very strong and mutually respectful relationships. They're able to hold space and lead with a real calm steadiness. At this level, they also bring more stability and trust into both personal and professional relationships. So this achiever is really starting to see better results, ticking all the boxes, feeling successful in all relationships, personally and professionally. And the pivotal moment from the rebel through to from the rebel through to the achiever is that they start actually choosing more sustainable impact over fast wins. So how can I up level myself, up level those people around me to have this as a sustainable result, and not just a tick a box for me, but also start to impact this workplace or this community longer term. Then we move into the stage, what I call, of the impact journey, which is the impactor. And this is where we become really aligned as a visionary leader, and our attitude towards change is very trusting and grounded and integrated into all that we do. We make the realization as this impactor, as someone who can influence a greater group of people. They lead with a real sense of, like the achiever level, start leading with that grounded presence, but it's more about, okay, what is the legacy that I want to create and impact each time I'm within this community or as a person for the greater good. It's no longer a need to prove anything at this level. They are fully embodied in their purpose, their vision, their mission, why they are there for the greater good. They start realizing at this level, leaders at this level start to realize that it's that we're in this together, that we are as one, is what I say, that we're working together, and how can I help you through a journey is also a measure of me. It's a very functional way of leading, and the focus here is on how can I contribute to not just to me but to others, and how do I keep things happening. The impact on relationships here is that they become a real inspiration for others, but not just in that inspirational level. It's also at, okay, how can I be a great presence for transformation and inspire others to rise through the behaviors that I'm demonstrating, who I'm being at all times in all areas of my life. They create deep, connected relationships and elevate everyone around them. So the main step here and the pivotal moment to this level is around surrendering control. You know, what is the opposite of control? It's trusting and stepping fully into alignment. So that is a macro overview of the impact journey. And I know that I've just taken a couple of minutes to cover off on each of the levels. So in the Impact Lab, we use this model to help you see or reflect on where you're operating most of the time. So the key question here is, where are you operating as a leader? It helps us to understand how we shape our outcomes. Like, you might be wanting a different result, but unaware of what is keeping you stuck. So it's to support you into a new level of leading and a new way of being, a new way of doing things. It's one that shows you how to show up in your business, in your team, and in every relationship. It is an evolution of your identity as a leader. It is not, okay, you arrive at achiever level and that's where you stay. There are significant shifts in who you are and your actions that take you from dependence through to challenger and rebel, achiever, and then through to becoming the impactor in all areas of your leadership. So you've probably been told that breaking the rules is how you stand out as a leader, or and maybe you are stuck at that rebel stage, that questioning everything means that you're finding who you are and your truth. And you know what? I've been there before, and for a period of time, it actually feels like freedom. But what if I told you that, that isn't the breakthrough? It's actually the bridge. Here's what most people don't realize, that the moment you start to challenge systems or authority around you, you start to feel powerful. But the thing is, if you stop there and you stay in that stage, you actually are staying reactive, in that rebel mode. You stay loud and you could be stuck. You're feeling stuck. Sometimes it gives you this energy, but it doesn't give you direction, or it's like that fire in your belly. I can do things differently. It's the spark, but it's not the strategy to get the real results that you are after. And that's where most purpose-driven professionals or leaders lose their momentum in their leadership, that they keep oscillating between these first stage 1, 2, and 3. So if you're feeling frustrated and you feel tired or exhausted of pushing and not progressing, it's not because you're wrong, or it's just simply because you're starting to outgrow that level of leadership. You're ready to move from resisting to actually leading, to making more of an impact. And this is the journey that helps, where your rebellion actually becomes strategy, where your voice becomes influence, and where your visions become real. Because that stage of being, of oscillating from rebellion, wakes you up, and it gives you that fire in the belly to do something different. But it's the alignment through the achiever stage and the impactor stage of, okay, how can I look within as a leader and become more emotionally fit, to be an emotionally fit leader, an emotionally fit human, and that alignment to your values, your behaviors, who you're becoming as an emotionally fit person and as an emotionally fit leader in any workplace, that carries you forward into in your leadership and life itself. So if this is something that you want to learn more about, I have attached, and in the description notes of this episode, please click on the link there, and I have a copy of the impact journey for you, and so that you can see how you can up level your leadership to become of greater influence and impact in who you're becoming as an emotionally fit human. Please share this episode and share it with your friends. Until the next episode, I'm Lauren Taylor, your host of Emotionally Fit Humans, and I'm loving sharing this journey together. Let's become emotionally fit humans.